Hello, everyone, and welcome to Light Language number 17. Can you believe we've done this 17 times?
Love it. I love it because that's an 8. I love 8.
And 8, this is an 8 year, so there's strength in that. So, and you tilt the 8 on its side and it becomes the infinity. Symbol.
Yeah.
It's also awesome. This amazing person next to me is JJ from Tutah Speaks. Karen's not able to join us today, so there's that. But there are a lot of people watching, and we do appreciate it. I am wanting to remind you, this is for entertainment purposes only. Do not make decisions based upon what we say. Seek professional assistance. Really. And do the things. All of the links are below, so if you would like to show support, please do so. Like, share, and subscribe because it's free. And so let's just start. JJ, how you been doing?
I've been doing pretty good. I've just been cleaning up the yard and cleaning up my spaces. That seems to be a big theme for this year. I got it back in January, or it might have been December, but it was like cleaning up your body, cleaning up your spaces. So
okay.
A lot of times that doesn't come easily for me, most of the time. And so I love that that's happening for me, because that's not an easy thing for me to do.
Mm-hmm. I want to. Well, I'm going to put a pin in that because we'll talk a little bit about that. But I do remember there was that homework that I gave everybody to dust.
Yes.
And there were about 2 people who did it.
Yeah.
I was not one of them. So, but
yeah.
So, shall we say hello to some of the people watching, because we have the best chatters.
Yes, they're all here.
The future lurkers, the work lurkers, the best lurkers, and all of the other lurkers who are watching. Thank you. So, and so we have Annie Bear was here early on. So hello, Annie. Juanita's review. Hello. Mods, please be careful of this dude. Because he's gonna have some fun. and so we have, and then Millie Della Prida is here. And Annie said, hardly been on YouTube these past few days now. We are weaving codes as a group, I think.
That is word for word what you said before we came on. Is the weaving. Yeah. Whoa,
yeah,
that goosebumps.
I'm writing that down, Annie. So Kaylee Fogo Pogo, who under her other channel name of Woo Woo Wonderment is here.
Hi, I loved your show. I got so much from that. And definitely go over to Woo Woo Wonderment and like and subscribe, because she's a beloved in this community and has a lot of things to share.
Yes. Richie's Reach has joined us. Hello.
Hi, Richie.
And
also has a channel. I think everybody here has a channel.
Well, there we go. You go. And Jonathan Daly is here. Hi, Jonathan. Good to see you. There we go. And I'm getting some rain. So Mother Nature is supporting us by making things wet and easy to pull, because you can, after the rain, you can actually pull out the weeds easily because they're not stuck in the ground. So, and yes, and you got a bravo from Annie Bear. Valerie S is here. Lovely to see you. And Richie's Reach is work lurker tonight. Carl is here. Hello, Carl. Fatima, it's good to see you. And Jonathan said, I'm getting to the point where I'm ready to start purging clothes, books, and decks, not to mention dusting off my stuff and altars. Yes.
I wondered, do you alter your altar? You know what I
Do
mean?
I? Do
Yeah,
I?
yeah.
Yeah, I usually refresh it. I usually refresh it at each at the equinoxes and the solstices.
Mm-hmm.
So because I do change some of the stuff on it related to the colors of the holidays or the
Mm,
seasons. So
yeah.
right now I have a yellow witch ball on my altar. And because it's yellow is associated for me with East
Hmm.
or the suit of swords, and then so I will then fluff it out and change the cloth and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So,
Cool.
so yeah, did I answer your question?
Uh-huh. And Jonathan does too. Always good to refresh the altar. Yep.
Yes.
Alterations.
Yes. Teresa Ford, no, not me.
Mm,
And Hypnicity is here. Hello. And also love that blue shirt. One of my fave colors, Kaylee said.
thank you.
Oh, here you go. You mean alterations?
Oh my God, alterations. I didn't catch that.
I love that.
Waka, waka, waka.
Yes. And Imagine Brenda T. Good to see you. Okay, well, thank you for subscribing to JJ's channel, Carl. Um, so, Fun Boy, we are talking about light language, and in particular, how is everyone doing with? I mean, how is everybody managing their own self care during all of these energetic shifts? Because we've not had that conversation. I've talked about it on a couple of other lives. So, and Annie Bear said, my stones all were outside for the Aurora Borealis. Oh, nice.
Mm.
Nice. And so, okay. And Annie Bear is walking 6 times a day. Oh,
6 miles.
6 miles.
Mhm.
Sorry. Well, yeah. And Teresa Ford, meaning
Yeah.
I don't have a channel
Yep.
yet.
Yet.
Yeah. And yeah, nature is where to be. So
Buzz, buzz.
absolutely. So I've been on some shows where we've talked about. I mean, we had the Aurora Borealis, we've had solar flares, we've had all sorts of stuff. What have
Eclipses.
eclipses,
Mhm.
retrogrades, all sorts of other stuff been going on. How what are the energies you've noticed, JJ? And part two is what are you doing to help your self-care during this chaos?
Well, I am not very good at one, like recognizing that there's external things that are affecting me. I know that external things do affect me. It takes me a little while to be like, oh, that's why I had my head under the blanket for most of that day. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Or that's
Yes.
why I was really tired. Or maybe that's why I didn't sleep. And so the community here, and some of the Facebook groups that I'm a part of, it really helps to share sometimes, because then I don't feel like I'm alone, or it might explain some of the things that I'm feeling and that other people are doing it as well. So it's like
Mhm.
just sharing those small things of like, hey, did anybody not sleep well? Or, did everybody feel like they needed a nap today?
Yeah.
And when you're in those situations, it's really hard to connect the dots of, oh, this isn't just like, you know, I'm not eating or drinking right. It's like maybe it's the energy around us as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
And because Juanita's review said tired, yes. And
Yeah.
sometimes it hits hard, no energy.
Hmm.
So, and they're the best chatters are bringing it. So this is good.
Yeah. This is really good.
Yes. Jonathan has said, I've been resting a bunch. I've been feeling lots of fatigue lately. I'm not sure if it's the energy or the long
Hmm.
COVID.
Yeah.
It's probably a mix of the two. And also going to physical therapy. Yes.
Oh, that's great.
Yes. Needle Arts Babe, Suzanne Rich. Hello, Suzanne, has said,
Hello.
the solar flares have been whopping my butt and got over a massive 3-day headache during
Mm.
the auroras. Nice.
You
So,
know, and that's something that's difficult too, because, like, for instance, I have a kiddo who has migraines, and we were having this discussion, and I'm like, what? Like, because I have allergies that are creating an allergy, like a migraine or a headache. And I'm like, people who have like migraines all the time, it's just like, it just ramps up, I guess, when there's the other stuff going on, like allergies or,
yeah,
certain unknown or
yeah.
unseen things out there.
Past weekend was intense. And Saturday morning, I woke up and something shifted. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Um, so, yeah, a lot of inner healing. I'm channeling a
Mm.
lot, a lot, a lot. That's wonderful,
Mhm.
Annie Bear.
Yeah.
And yeah, a lot of body pain for Wayne.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. It has been rainy here for a little while, and it's like, old lady getting out of the chair over here.
I love it. I love it. It's like Maria is receiving abundance said, it's really helpful for me to share because no one around me
Mhm.
is sensitive and
Yeah.
picks up as we do. And that is one of the things that I really am glad you're here with that, because I think it's important for us to be aware of the community and the people that we have around us.
Mhm.
So I don't know about you, but sometimes self-care for me is knowing who I can spend time with. Not that
Mhm.
I don't like spending time with people. I just know I need a certain type of energy around me. That
Yeah.
makes sense. And so yeah. And she said, I don't feel so odd. Well,
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, exactly. It's
Hmm.
like we're a very safe community here, and,
Hmm.
yeah. It's like one day I just had a language that came out. It's like you can say that here without somebody looking at you strangely.
Yeah. And we're gonna, and a lot of times we go, well, okay, can you do it now? I want to hear it. I mean, what
Yeah.
has it got to say?
Yeah.
So Michelle Marie, Astrological Tarot, is here, and I bet Jonathan, her spouse, is there
Mhm.
listening. And Valerie S. said, last few days and last night was toughest. Okay.
Mhm.
And I'm tired. Uh, tired.
Headaches too. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh my gosh. Yeah. And yeah, if I push myself to get outside to ground, it does help.
Mhm.
Grounding's always a good idea. Grounding is always a good idea, and I'm a huge supporter in the what grounding is it for you? What works for you?
Mhm.
And I had a conversation with medium Betsy Palmer and Hershey the Shadow Reader on Monday, talking about what's in our toolbox, what is
Ooh.
available to us, what are the things that I'm good at, and when I need to work on supporting myself, I need to remember, first of all, I need to remember to open the toolbox and then look inside to see, oh, these are the things that I know how to do.
Mhm.
Because sometimes when all of this noise is coming through, we're not able to remember the things that we have available to us. So,
Nice. You know, that reminds me, I worked in a group home, and that was one of the things they talked about was like one to recognize, recognize the triggers. I'm sure there's another word that could be more useful than that, but and then having like like there we were like, okay, yeah, what's in your toolbox? Like
Mhm.
maybe it's to go sit quiet outside by the tree,
Yep.
or maybe it's to draw, or maybe it's to go skateboard. And it's nice to it's nice to even write those things down or have like a coloring book if you like to doodle or color.
Oh yeah.
Um, yeah.
Oh, here you
Mhm.
go. Ness is reminding that the glimmers are positive, or positive, restorative things.
Yeah.
Yes, that's true. That's very true.
I
Uh,
love the word restorative. That,
yes,
yeah,
that's
I
good.
think Tuta might talk about that.
Hmm. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. And oh yeah, I mean, it's one of those things that the glimmers are, the opposite of triggers. So I did a whole stuff
Yeah.
on that in December. Really, really powerful. Oh,
Mhm.
barefoot weather week. Excuse me, barefoot weather. So
Mm. Yeah.
I think one of the things that I've noticed with all of these energies, um, I experience them differently. My dreams have been extremely vivid, extremely clear, extremely colorful, and I actually wake up remembering those.
Mm.
And usually my dreams are not like that. I just get some sort of something like that may have happened, but I'm waking up with full pictures and recollections and
Mhm.
remembering what was being said. So I think I bring that up because first of all, that's exactly how I've been experiencing the weather and the energetic changes, but also we all experience them differently, and one's not better than the other. They're just different.
Mhm.
So,
Agreed.
and
When you're saying that, I'm seeing that they're saying, some of them stick. Like, some of them stick in your mind,
yeah,
like, after you've gone through that wake up,
hmm,
period, and
yeah,
it's like they're getting stuck in the web in a way.
yeah, they're getting set. Yeah,
Mhm.
thank you very much. I appreciate that. And yeah, dreams are dreamlands extravaganza. And Jonathan's been having major dreams, as has Beth, clearing out shit quite lucid and remember them in the morning. All unusual for me.
Mm.
And I've been dreaming dreams from my past and future self.
Ooh, fun.
Yes, that actually makes a lot of sense because it does go back to something that I think it was Annie said talked about weaving codes,
Mhm.
and so I think that's really interesting. Sharon Foster is here. Hi, Sharon. And somebody else said something that I was like going. Um, oh, Annie mentioned that their
Oh my
allergies are
gosh,
off the charts. Ascension
same.
symptoms. Yeah, yeah. So I completely understand that. So yeah, and Millie hasn't been having any dreams. Do you normally have dreams? So, because that's an interesting question, and yeah, really crazy stuff happening.
Mm.
And Michelle Marie said, I agree. Rahu in sidereal Pisces, as well as the eclipses in Virgo and Pisces this year, are definitely affecting our dreams. So
Hmm.
I'm going to take a sip because, you know, so self care. So you've been organizing and
Mhm.
removing stuff, making
Yeah.
space.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's the pretty much the biggest self-care. Um, yeah, because that's oop.
Oop, what?
It's I went black on the screen there for a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know if I was glitching. But yeah, that's a really big self-care for me because when I walk into a room that's clean, and there's not like debris, like things I'm gonna put away soon, like on the corners of the walls, it's like the energy feels really soft to me, and it feels like it's something that I can really like expand and melt into and not feel so confined. Where
Hmm.
it's like I have had clutter issues, and I thought that the clutter made me feel kind of safe, like
Yeah.
in a way. And but I feel safer and more. My energy feels better now with the clean spaces of letting go of things that somebody else might be able to use, or
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. That's so true. There's been this, the look about artists, that artists are always chaotic and, places are a mess. What I
Hmm.
found is that when I'm very organized, my creativity increases because it doesn't have to battle
Yeah.
the noise of the stuff. And I can actually, when I have an idea, I can find the tool I need to be able to manifest that. It's like being a poet and having this great idea, but not being able to find a pencil and a paper. So,
Yeah. And you were talking about like the great benefits of silence, and
mhm.
not sharing any, everything with everybody, and that there's power in silence sometimes. And I think that's true with, and why it feels so soft is because clutter has a volume. It has
Yes.
electricity to it. And when I walk into a room that feels soft and safe, it's like I feel like my energy can happily stretch out. Um,
Mm.
yeah.
So so then with the spaces clear, the energy is able to expand and breathe
Mhm. Yeah.
without having to battle against anything.
Which silence for me, because I have I have ADD. And so there's always a million things going on in my head or things that I see. And I think the chatter is less when the clutter's gone because I'm like, oh, that goes there. Who's going to pick that up? And um, so yeah, it's like freedom for my brain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Nalani said, "I'm starting to think of my clutter is like a weight. Now I need to turn that into motivation to do something about."
Yeah.
Yeah, and Ziggy B is here. Hello, Ziggy B, and um, yeah, motivating, and so that idea of keeping quiet. This is something that, because there's so much going on. Part of it is from my own magical practices. It's one of the four pillars of the Magus: to know, to will, to dare, to keep silent.
Mm.
Oftentimes, it's that keeping silent that is challenging because I get so excited that I want to tell everybody, "Oh, look what I did! Look what I'm doing! Look what I'm doing!"
Yeah.
And part of what I've learned in my practice is, don't remove the energy that I have created. Don't dissipate it. Instead, let it work on what it's working on, and trying to manifest, and then allow the results of it to show people what I've done.
Hmm.
If that makes sense to people who are watching, understand that. So, um,
Yeah, I'm seeing it as but in a good way, like, they're showing me, like, water in the dam, and it's just like, don't open it up, until it's full, It's almost like if the water was lower in the reservoir, and you open it up, it's like, that's not beneficial and for the reservoir. So it's almost like thinking of ourselves as a reservoir, and it's just like, well, let's let that fill up and be silent and be in like settle into this new thing, this new level of water.
I like
um
that.
yeah,
That
before you open it up.
yeah. Well, and it's like, yeah, when you tell everyone they might dig up your seeds, that's a very good way to describe it. They might dig up your seeds. And
Hmm.
Annie Bear, I don't think you're putting out too many videos. I would no, not at
Mm-mm.
all, not at
No.
all. So I think it's one of those things is because Annie Bear, this is Gerald's opinion. What I think is going on, you've already manifested it energetically. You're doing all of that work. And then what you're doing is you're capturing it in a video, the progress and the results. So it builds it up. So it's like, oh, and Annie says, feels like I'm finding my feet and dancing like I have ants in my pants. I
Yeah.
fully support that, Annie. I
Mm.
fully support that. So,
Yeah, Annie, and I've also been a witness to like when your reservoir is full and it's like bubbling out into the stories, into the videos, and then I've also seen you, you know, just trying to figure things out as well, and taking time for that.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it's so powerful when, we're talking about light language and we've talked about emerging languages. It's like when something is new or we have a new experience with it, um, stay excited about it and stick with it.
Hmm.
Um, because I find that really important because that energy build is what's going to give it a solid foundation. So
Yeah.
I, you know, I mean, and right now because we're talking about light language and I'm trying to access different records and stuff like that. There's this, um, oh, how to describe it? I mean, energetically, there's so much moving and there's so many um, um, plates in the air right now for all of us. I think it's so important to be with that one plate that you're working on, and then being able to be agile and shift to another plate,
Hmm.
because that's where there's this energetically. I think most people who are watching have some sort of an awareness that they need to look over their shoulder. It's like something's not quite right there. What is that?
Mm.
You're processing something or you're thinking something.
I am, because they keep showing me pictures when you're talking. It's like trying to read all the books in the library, like a page here, and then go over to that book and a page there, and sometimes you're not getting the whole story.
Mm,
Yeah, of the one. It's like going to many when maybe just focus on that plate.
yeah, yeah. Check. Yeah. Enjoy the books. You'll get to the
Mhm.
ones you'll find. And I'm a firm believer that we find the tools that we need present themselves to us.
Yeah.
I like to be open to that. I try to live in a world of expectancy. I
Hmm.
expect it to be there. So,
Yeah. That reminds me of uh, when learning about like healing herbs, flowers, twigs, bark. It's like
mhm.
somebody had told me that like where it might be like the rockiest, where you might find yourself stumbling and getting some scrapes, that like Mother Nature has provided the medicine for that environment
Yeah,
within you, if you know what to look
uh-huh.
for
I
and
like
know how to use it. And I
that.
I love that because I love that because sometimes we feel, I mean, I felt, even though I had people around, I felt really alone when I was growing up. And, but then my older self, I looked back and I'm like, I checked out the perimeter of my life at certain times. And I'm like, oh, I had help in this way and help in that way. And yeah, it's pretty neat when you go back as your adult self and just witness some things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Teresa said leaving space for anticipation of that. And Jonathan shared JJ, like 50 people trying to tell you 50
Yeah,
stories at the same time. I've been
yeah,
getting that lately. It's confusing.
yeah,
And
yeah.
Annie said, OMG, the one right behind me inquired the wisdom within. So be it. Yes. And Rossi said, Gerald manifests in the quantum field. So it's good to check in and remember that we have guides always and
Mhm.
aren't alone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And that's one of the things that, um, a lot of people have been curious about how do I listen to my guides? How do I hear them? How do I
Mhm.
talk to them? And the short answer is, and it's maybe not the easiest one, just talk to them.
Mhm. I love that you said that because this whole time, you guys might see me like my head might be saying yes when Gerald's trying to think of something. So I know like what he's gonna say. Like my people are saying yes to that, even though he hasn't figured out like
Uh-huh.
the words to say. And I don't know what he's gonna say, but they're like, yes. And I have goosebumps again. But just putting some of the things together that we've all shared here and like explored. Um, I feel like there's this really neat, like mini journey that we can go on, if you guys are up to it.
Yes.
Having to do with, you said the rain loosens up the weeds. Um, and, and there's something about the silence in that and knowing, um, just experiencing the rain softening and the weeds coming out. So
Mhm.
would you be would you guys all support that? Like, if there's any healers in there, out there, even if you're watching this on replay, joining
Mhm.
in with your energy.
Yeah.
Um, and then if
Let's
of
do
course,
that.
if you need extra and you just wanna receive, that's 100% okay
Mhm.
as well.
Yeah.
Um,
Rossi
I'm
asked
not
if
experiencing the telepathy Rossi, Tutah is, because I don't know what he's gonna say. But I will say there's somebody in the community I had as a client and, they said something or she may not be here right now, but she's practicing and she's like, "I'm sending you something right now." And I got it. I got the picture that she sent me. Like, I was like, "Okay, this is gonna sound silly." And then I described it and we're both like,
yeah.
"Oh my God." So
Yep.
so telepathy is real. But no, Tuta knows exactly what somebody's gonna say.
Hmm.
Or if they're thinking it, not saying it, it's like, yes, go with that.
Yeah.
Okay,
Let's do
cool.
this.
Yeah, let's do this. So everybody has a different kind of light language. So it's like if you need to doodle, go get a paper, a pencil. If you move. Like everybody, what we've learned here with light language is everybody has their own certain ingredient for that.
Mhm.
And so, yeah, we just welcome the participation or just receiving. So, just taking a breath in, releasing our day. And taking a moment to silence, like hearing the thought or hearing something outside and acknowledge it, and then go back into the silence. speaking of silence and telepathy, they're saying there won't be a lot of talking during this. It's a time for us to like all practice the silence and just see what comes up. It's like a group telepathy type thing, or just listening to your inner teacher, your inner self. And take a few more seconds. And just say thank you and come on back. I'm curious how everybody did with that.
Yeah. And I don't know if I said hi to Sharon. Kiba's here. Hypnicity would say breathe. And mycelium's glowing. The tree roots are resonating mother's pulse.
I got pulse. I got pulse too, Leah.
Yeah. And Ness laid down. And loving heat on Annie's back.
Nice.
Hypnicity felt I like the stillness.
Yeah.
On a lot of silent arm movements and opening of wings. Very nice. And Ness shared, I am PMS. I'm major PMSing today, which is when my abilities is the highest.
Interesting.
And the silence was very peaceful, and I could feel the heartbeat of Gaia. Yep. Maria is receiving abundance. Golden rays from the sun filled me and warmed my painful spots. Very nice. Amanda Carroll said, embraced by trees and bird song because they are outside.
Oh, nice.
And hollow, Annie Bear said. Teresa, chain stitching codes. Yes. And Saint said, vibration sounds and giggles. Yep.
Thank you, Leah.
Thank you, Leah. I think for me, well, for me, not I think, for me, it was very much a slowing down of the symbols and the
Mm.
movements, slowing them down so that I could see how they interconnected.
Hmm.
So there was this, I could see it, and usually they move faster. This time they moved purposefully slowly so I could see how each piece fit perfectly into the next one.
Beautiful.
And Richie's Reach said, I saw us all in a circle building a big fire for us to take forward. Oh, nice.
Mm. That's great.
Ziggy B said, I felt like I was exhaling forever. I don't know what that meant.
You know, Ziggy, I got that feeling too, right at the end, and um, it was like the expansion was like, yeah, being
Mhm.
able to breathe, and it just goes on and on and on.
Mhm.
Ooh.
Yeah. And Amanda had that thing that many of us do, but I had to stop myself from reviewing my day.
Yeah.
I completely get it. Sharon Foster said it was cooling for me.
Interesting, because Annie felt the heat. I love the differences.
Yeah, that's so true because I had
Mhm.
Hypnicity said falling into place. Teresa said release
Hmm.
and warm hands, sending out energy. Reiki hands, said Rossi, and yeah, and Maria said yes. I had to check if I was inhaling. Yeah,
I do that. I'm a habitual, like, shallow breather. So I'm just like, oh my God, have I been breathing? Yeah.
yeah. I think it's a really. I think part of self care and managing all of this stuff is knowing what happens for us as individuals and not discounting it at all and just accepting that that's the way it is.
Hmm.
Some people have light, some people feel cool, some people
Hmm.
feel heat, some people experience it dark. And I'm going to say this right into the camera. Great. That's exactly what it should be.
Hmm.
And I think that's part of that weaving that is going on is I believe it's the more people who see themselves as authentic as they are, that builds the structure and the power. So
Yeah. And yeah, I used to, when I was, learning, spiritual stuff and whatnot, I would get really bummed out if I didn't have those amazing visions that everybody else had. And, like, oh, why did I not see anything? And then I realized that one of my favorite places further on down the road was I really liked what I call the void, which is they probably were showing me, like, hey, this is going to be one of your favorite things, is to just
mhm.
not see anything. And, you
Hmm.
know, just being in this quiet void. And yeah, so always remember, like, whatever it is that you're feeling, you're seeing, or you might think the lack of that thing, it's like, just, you may not understand it right now, but just be grateful for, like, the time that you're here and you're practicing and stretching and playing and being curious, because further on down the road, like that, you might get some answers, you may not.
Yeah.
But yeah, but thank you for being here with us.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, that's
Mhm.
great. That's great. And it's fun. One of the things that I learned early on in my I've been a spiritual student a lot, and I've been in different groups. And one of the things that I because I used to lead discussions and monthly discourse studies, and one of the things that was really important is to ask for more information so that when we would come back from a meditation or the and ask her, so how was that for people? And if somebody says, well, nothing happens or nothing happened,
Mm-hmm.
and we're encouraged to get curious about that and say, what do you mean nothing happened? And lo and behold, I said that to somebody, and it's like, well, I go to my usual place, which is I go into this white light, and then I go into this huge castle-like area that is all crystalline energy, and it's surrounded by this, and I hear this music, and this person's like going, well, I always do that. And it's like, well, nothing happened. And the rest of us in the room, JJ, were like going,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
it's fun. So
Yeah.
but
That reminds me, my husband, I brought my husband to actually the retreat that my language came out, and that's how he started, because he was like afraid of the sharing part, because public speaking, we're a bit socially awkward. You may not see it here with me like online, but yeah, he was like, well, I didn't really see anything. And the same thing, like once he like opened up, he's like, well, there was an elephant, and then I was seeing through the eagle's eye, and then I'm just like, and me, I got nothing because I was worried that he was nervous. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And by the way, we're simulcasting, so if you're not seeing all the chat,
Mm.
it's because it's on the other one's channel. And Annie
Yeah.
Bear was sharing that she created a new necklace and has been wearing it for a couple of days,
Ooh.
and it's been lovely. So
Mhm.
um
Yeah,
so
and Leah's asking about my mom. Yeah, my mom had a total knee replacement, and yeah, she is at the fun part where it's just like, oh my gosh, this feels great. So she is doing really, really well, and she is like exceeding all of like the goals put. She'll like, oh, is that a goal? I'm gonna get past that.
yeah.
Yeah, she's doing great.
Yeah. Um this just in from Karen. She doesn't
Okay.
know I'm going to say it. They are not being quiet.
Is that in capital?
Yes, not
Yeah.
being quiet. And I'm like, and I totally get this. So I get
Yeah.
it. I get it. So
Which really comes up with the silence, and like when you're in the silence and you're like analyzing, your day, or, the kids aren't being quiet. So it's just like um, kind of knowing, like sometimes when you practice, it may not be like the most perfect environment, but I feel like Tutah's saying it's okay. Just try, but don't get frustrated if a train is going by, or the airplanes are going over, or you're wondering like, do I have enough in the refrigerator for dinner?
yes, yes,
Just try.
yeah. And I think that's an important thing about understanding that idea of self-care, is
Hmm.
because when we're dealing with a lot of energy and it's overwhelming, sometimes the best you can do is get up and take a shower and put clothes on,
Hmm.
and that's it.
Yeah.
And other times it's like, oh, what am I going to do for dinner? And you're going to have uh, carrots and crackers.
Yes.
So I think it's one of those things. It's important just to, yeah, we have to manage our expectations. Oh,
Hmm.
let me rephrase that. Let me own that. I have to manage my expectations, but first I have to be aware that this is what's going on.
Yeah.
So here you go: skin care and nail care. I like that. Ooh, pie
Hmm.
for dinner. So yeah, batches
you
of
know
soup. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, batches of soup. Crock pot cooking is so good. Like if you're gonna have a busy day. But I love the world right now, because I can order groceries and they get delivered. I can order food that gets delivered. Yeah, it's pretty easy if it's self-care and you don't want to go out and about.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then there is a point where I'm getting the nudge to remind people there is a point of staying in, there's a point when we have to pay attention to when doing certain things are self-care and when that turns into avoidance for doing the work that needs to be done.
Yeah.
If I want to stay
That
under
that might be for me.
so, but it's just like, but it's that idea of, it's that, okay, how many days can I sit in the bed?
Mm.
I need to get up and do, yeah, it's escaping, turns into agoraphobia, which is when, and let's be honest, and I said this on Monday with Hershey and Betsy, there is nothing wrong with asking for help.
Mm.
If you need help energetically or mentally, emotionally, it's okay to ask for help. By
Mhm.
Jonathan. And I think there's an authenticity of knowing when we need help.
Mhm.
And, it takes a lot of strength to be able to ask for help. So,
Mhm. Yeah.
so it's peoply outside in the daylight hours.
Yes.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah,
This has been a really easy and lovely conversation with everybody today.
it has. It
Yeah.
has. One of the things that I would love to be able to talk about later is this idea of weaving codes,
Oh, right. Yes.
you know,
Yeah.
and because that came up a couple of different times and in different ways.
Yeah.
So
I forgot we were next episode. I forgot we were going to talk about that. You guys are
that's
going to have to stay tuned.
that's why I take notes
Yes.
so that I can go, oh
Yeah.
wow, okay. So, oh yeah, and Imelda said after completing a 12-week therapy program for depression and anxiety, I highly
Mhm.
recommend it. No
Oh,
shame.
that's great.
Yes. Yep. Weaving is a theme. And I think that I think it's interesting because it goes back to also the idea we've talked about these emerging languages.
Mhm.
And I think this is so much, there's so much importance to understanding that it's happening. And I am going to say we don't need to know why it's happening. We just have to accept it is. What do you need to say, JJ?
I feel like because you said that out loud, I already feel like is it they're saying the word like synapses? Is does that have anything to do with um like the brain like connecting with other like
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
So they're saying that it's already happening it's almost like when Jonathan there was saying about 50 people talking all at once. It's almost like that's what the energy is like reaching out through me, with me, of me, to like the next person standing in the circle
Hmm.
around the fire that Richie
Hmm.
said. And
Yeah.
it's like it's already happening. And it helps when you say it out loud, Gerald. But I feel like the connection's already happening.
Uh-huh. Yeah. And hypnicity is like going connecting the dots.
Yeah.
Yep. Brain connections, synapses.
Okay, good. Sometimes they'll throw some sciencey stuff at me, and I'm like, I don't remember what that means.
Yeah. Okay. Suzanne said this. Oh, I almost forgot. I remembered I had recently bought a string of terahertz stones,
Oh.
blocks electric emissions, draped the strand over my head, and the headache subsided.
Interesting. I'm going to write that down.
Yeah.
Like Gerald. I'm going to learn from Gerald. And his brain is connecting to my brain.
And it's not telepathy, but yes, I think off planet do use telepathy.
Mm-hmm.
A synapsis, yes. And Leah said, Gerald, this is a different ray of sun here with JJ, so gentle.
Yeah,
Yes.
definitely.
Yes.
I was talking to Gerald, and I do feel like, for me personally, that because he asked me, he's like, how's the codes and the downloads going? And I'm like, oh, you're right. I'm like, things have been changing for me. Like my language is different, or I feel like the experience is, like elevated in different ways. And yeah, it's good stuff.
Yeah. And I have to remember that it's coming at the appropriate time. It's coming
Yeah.
in its right pace.
Yeah.
I of course I want it all now. That sort of thing. However, it's I mean, just because I think I want it, it's not the best thing. I might actually implode.
Or if like a tree grows too fast, like during the good weather, like the first windstorm that comes over, it's like it's gonna
Yep.
blow over.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So, JJ, what do you have coming up on your channel?
I have been taking breaks here and there for self-care. And so I actually am going into self-care. So on my calendar for clients, you'll notice that it's blocked off for a couple of weeks. But I will be returning to everything. Just got to do some silence.
Mm-hmm. Well, and it is one of those things that self-care and scheduling it into your schedule is
Hmm.
really empowering, and it sets a boundary. Those self-care things need to be there, because for those people who do healing work, or they work with people, if you're not taking care of yourself,
Hmm.
you ain't got nothing to give. You I mean,
Yeah.
and so it's empty. So
Yeah. I remember one day I had a very caring client, very understanding, because I came on and I'm like, I'm not sure how this is going to work because I'm on like antibiotics, and lo and behold, the things that were yeah, it was like dulling my senses. But I
mhm.
kind of knew that going in, and I'm like, but I'm here if you want to just chit chat, you know?
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, the reservoir needs to fill.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
So, all right, everyone. Thank you for being here. As soon as we
Mhm.
get done, we will look at schedules to see
Yeah.
another time that we can get together.
Hmm.
And it's great to see so many people who have light language sharing the space with us,
Hmm.
and people who know of their light language, people who are evolving their light language, and people who have yet to hear their light language, whatever form it takes.
Yeah.
Um, but I have a whole bunch of stuff coming up. I'm on with Linda De Gonzalez tomorrow at 5 Eastern. And then I'm on with Richie from Longman Tarot on Friday. I'm doing yes no readings with Hershey and Thomas, and then I've got some stuff coming up. So I want to say thank you for everybody, and
Hmm.
um, we shall head off. And everyone, please take care of yourself, and take care.
Yeah.
Bye.